Hi, everybody. It's Georgia Rose. Welcome to the Zenkuda Soul Space. I hope you're all having a absolutely fabulous day and that you had a fabulous weekend with family, friends, making connections. Here in the States, it was Thanksgiving. I know we don't celebrate that all over the world, but we certainly celebrate it here where I live in the United States of America. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about astrology, and then we're going to jump right in to our subject tonight is all about signs. And I always receive signs, and people that hang out with me are not even surprised anymore by the things that happen because it's really pretty cool when you're connected and you get signs from the other side or just signs from the spirit world letting you know you're on track, right? And I am sure that you all have a lot of signs to call in and comment and tell us about. So, in the last couple of weeks, we've had a little bit of difficulty with FB, Facebook. And so we do the show live on YouTube. You can always hop over to Strong Island Television on YouTube. And then, of course, the replays of the show are on my own site, Zenkuda. So I have a really exciting announcement. In the weeks to come, we're going to be participating more in the lives on YouTube than we do on the Facebook platform, getting off of Facebook a little bit. The broadcast will still be there for a while, of course, but we really encourage you to watch us from now on the YouTube Live, which would be Strong Island Television. You can still comment there. Of course, you can call into the show, but it gives us a platform to really interact with you on a much broader scale than Facebook allows. So really love that idea, and I hope you'll all support us by jumping on over to that. Actually, we're going to really start to make that our priority beginning with the first show of this year, which will be January 2nd for me. So until then, of course, you can find me everywhere. We are on every podcast platform that you can possibly think of. As a matter of fact, if you have Amazon Alexa in your house, you can simply say, Alexa, play The Soul Space with Georgia Rose, and you'll find my podcast audibly. So thanks so much, everybody who's watching. Going to say good evening to Anne and Aaron and Sarah. Janine's on. I'd love to hear about your signs tonight and what you've had happen to you and experiences that you guys have had while you've been communicating with spirit or hopefully, talking to loved ones on the other side. I believe everybody can do that. And we do get lots of signs. But first, before we jump into that, if I could ask you all to share the show, if you would, on your own pages and platforms, because we want to try and get as many viewers as we can. I have a goal for 2023 to have at least 5,000 viewers on this show. I don't think that's so incredible. I see people with hundreds of thousands of viewers, and I think our content is really terrific. So the more of people we can put in the Soul Space community, the more vibration we have that's high, the better off it is for all of us. And we will all engage in instantaneous healing and optimism. So what's going on in the stars this week? So while you guys share the show, I'll talk a little bit of astrology. So this week in the stars, we have actually a pretty easy week. I'm sure many of you felt the energy ease off last week, right before the holiday. Middle of last week, I talked about it on the show. You can always go back and watch that beginning part, which is always about the astrology. And the energy changed because we have a lot of planets now in Sagittarius, which is a more happy energy than Scorpio energy is. Scorpio energy is always a little bit intense, a little bit heavy. For those of my Scorpio sisters out there, you know what I mean. Scorpio can be kind of possessive and intense. But the beautiful thing about Scorpios is that passion is fiercely loving when you allow them to open to you. So this week we've got a lot of Sagittarius energy, which is more party energy. It's great for this time of year. It's great for entertaining, seeing coworkers socially, seeing your social friends, seeing family. Really, really a nice energy for that the next couple of weeks. But Mars is still in Gemini, retrograde. And it's going to be retrograde until January 12th. So what I'm going to caution all you beautiful Zenkudas out there about is whatever happens during this holiday season that seems serious or seems like a decision that you have to make, because a lot of choices are coming up for a lot of us, right? Well, be prepared, make your choice. Don't be wishy-washy, move the car forward. But be prepared that you may undo it or change your mind, or it may not happen. Because when we have Mars retrograde in Gemini, it's a lot of duality and it's a lot of do-overs. So you may think you've made a choice and you're sticking to it and this is where your life's going to lead you, but something may happen that changes that course. Likewise, for those of you who've recently met someone new or have had a breakup, sometimes in this energy, it's not going to stick. It's either going to rose-colored glasses come off if you've met someone new and you think they're like the best thing ever. Sometimes when this energy goes direct, it really changes that and you start to see things that you didn't see before. Likewise, if you have broken up with someone or you've had an argument with someone in your family, it's probably not going to stay this way. The conflict isn't going to stick. It may undo itself, and you may find yourself reconciling or something cycling back around again. Because this is a very strong Mars retrograde. In Gemini, a planet of sign of communication. Mars is the sign of really our gas in our car and our assertion, our aggression. So when Mars is retrograde in that energy, you're going to find that what you say sometimes gets reversed. What someone tells you doesn't really happen. I'm sorry to say. But sometimes that can be a good thing because if you have something looming over your head that's not too positive, chances are it's probably not going to happen. Likewise, if you're putting in job applications, if you're looking to purchase a big purchase, a home, a car, if you're looking to make a dramatic choice in your life, chances are it may be delayed. It may not happen when you think it's going to happen. This is also what I would say in this energy, if you have choices to make, if there's some kind of a choice where you can do both, do a little bit of both and wait to make your decision. All right. I have a car purchase on the horizon and I'm not going to do anything until after January. So that's what you want to do because this energy is definitely a do-over energy. This week in particular, we have some mutable energy very prominent in the sky, adding to that indecisiveness. We're going to have choices presented to us, and we're not really going to know which way to go. There's a lot of indecision out there. So, that's when we really want to check in with our intuition, right? We talk about that all the time on the show. And you really want to make sure that your intuition is leading you to the right place by going with the body. Whenever we can't make up our minds and make a choice in our mental capacity, in our head, it's time to drop down into the heart space and also feel the body. I've been back in my daily yoga practice these last couple of weeks, and it just feels so good to be in the body that I've been neglecting a little bit. And that's what this energy reminds us about, is to step into that body feeling. Body never lies to us. Are we uneasy about this direction? Then we shouldn't take it. Are we uneasy about this person? Then we shouldn't connect with it. Are we uneasy? Are we feeling good? Are we having really a relaxed feeling? Do we feel familiar with this energy? Do we feel comfortable? Do we feel soothed? You want to really tap into the body to show you where to go when you're having those indecisive times. This is a time when you want to trust the process. The universe really does have our back in this energy. So really go into that and trust the process. Stop trying to attach your decision to the physical world, to the things, the materialism. We get really caught up in that this time of year. And we all know that the real does not live in that space. The real is not in the materialism, the physical things around us. It's not in the physical bodies of others. It's not in missing those who have left this earth. Their love is still with us. There's no loss in the higher realm. So we want to really step out of that material world, go into body sensations as far as our spirit and our heart and our auric field, our energy there feels in order to really guide us. Neptune also goes direct this week, so that's going to help us a little bit with the indecisiveness because this is going to set us up for reality now. We've had so much ethereal, floaty kind of energy around us that now we're going to have a little more reality. What is this all about? What's the meaning of all this? What is our soul trying to learn? Well, basically, our soul is trying to learn about our inner authority. What's being tested in your life? What inner authority really wants to come home and teach you something right now? So all the more reason to tap into that inner wisdom, that inner intuition, that soul space to lead you and guide you where you want to go. So I would love, hey, Laureen, hey, Elaine. Yeah, the last couple of weeks we didn't have Facebook, was kind of glitchy. So if ever you can't find us on Facebook, hop over to Strong Island on YouTube and you'll find us all there and all our shows there. So I am going to look at my comments right now. This actually, I have to tell you guys, is my 62nd episode. I have done 62 shows here at Strong Island. How awesome is that? And of course, those of you know I used to do the show at a different studio, but boy, like night and day, I love doing my show here. It is absolutely fabulous. And of course, I have Bobby helping me, my producer and owner of Paradise Studios and Strong Island Television. He is amazing. So want to look at the comments for a minute, see if any of you have any signs that you want to ask about. You can comment or call on the show. I see Sarah is my regular ones in order of the longest I've been aware of them. Numbers 1 and 3. Cardinals, her dad squawks sometimes. Feathers and crows. Okay, so cardinals is a very classic symbol of past loved ones. It has a lot of history with religious symbolism. As a matter of fact, for those of you who grew up Catholic or in certain religions, we have cardinals in the Catholic Church, and they wear red hats, right? So cardinals have long since been a symbol of connection with the divine. I know I've had a lot of experiences with cardinals myself. One time I lost an actual mentor to me who was someone who gave me my Reiki attunements. And when I was on the phone actually hearing news of her death, which was very shocking and sudden, it was a beautiful snowy day, and a cardinal came and right up to the window while this person was telling me this person had passed. So I truly believe cardinals can be a sign from the crossed over past life. Because they're very divine. They're very beautiful. That color red, also roses, red roses are a symbol. A lot of psychics, when they see red roses, are symbolic of things passing and love coming forth. The numbers 1 and 3, what I always suggest is looking into numerology. I know we had a couple of numerologists on the show. My very good friend Lois Martin also has a show called It's All the Numbers, and she's on Monday nights the same time as me. But oftentimes I guest on her show, and she's been on my show, and she'll tell you all about numbers. It's really cool. But the number 1 and 3 is 13. 13, some people feel, is an unlucky number. And as a matter of fact, in Las Vegas, they very rarely put a 13th floor in buildings. But to me, 13 is a lucky number. It adds up to 1 and 3 is 4, and 4 is an angel number. So the fact that you're seeing 13 for me is completely in alignment with angels or angelic beings coming in, which are usually a very high vibrational energy. So anytime you see the combinations, anything adding up to number 4, I would take that as angelic meaning. And whichever order. And numbers are really important for me too, as you're going to see in some of the photos that I have to show you tonight about some of the things that have happened to me. So if you guys are seeing numbers or you're seeing things that are signs and symbolic for you, I know that that is truly, loved ones coming in from the other side. And also, one of the things I tell people all the time is, make sure that you set your own dictionary. Like, instead of asking, what does 1 and 3 mean? Why do I keep seeing this and driving yourself crazy? Assign it. Say, okay, well, that makes sense to me what Georgia just said. I'm going to put like that this is angelic energy or angel energy. I see the number 127 in all different combinations all the time. That's my mother's birthday. So whenever I see 127, 27, that kind of combination, I know my mom's just giving me a little tap or a little kiss on the cheek and just coming in to say hello. Very not uncommon for people who've lost a policeman or a fireman to see their badge numbers or their birth dates, things like that for past loved ones. It could also be just a number that means something to you. Maybe the house number where you grew up or, but something they will communicate to us in something familiar. So I'm actually going to go to some of the photos that we have. 413, Elaine says, is her dad. So assign the number to that. Like, I could tell you a million times, January 27th, 127 has come into my life at just a perfect moment. I have some of the photos of that. Actually, I'm going to start showing you now. So the first photo, if Bobby's in the booth, I don't know. You back there, Bob? So the first photo is a really cool photo. This photo, if you can actually see it, I don't know if you can see it on camera because I'm on a monitor, but you probably can on screen. This photo was just taken randomly. One day I was walking in the park and took this photo and did not see any of this until I literally was home looking at the picture. And if you can see, there's a beam of light coming right from the sun down into my chest area. And if you can look right in the center of my chest where this beam is going, you'll see a little green dot, which is right where the heart chakra would be. And of course, green is healing energy. Archangel Raphael, I always use in all of my healing circles. This is the kind of thing that is just a random sign, didn't ask for it, but is confirmation from the universe to me that I have healing in my heart or that they're healing my heart. This was such a phenomenal picture. I remember walking in the park that day and whenever I walk in nature or I jog or I do any of my things in nature, walking on the beach. I walk to the lighthouse a lot by me. I always use it as a meditation in some way and bring in some thought of the divine, of God, of angels, or a past loved one. And I really use it to bring that energy into my heart center. So when I saw this picture when I got home, I could not believe that the heart beam came right in that little green dot on my chest. I was like, wow, they're really with me, really with me. So that was one I will always remember because it was just like a supportive energy to me that really proved to me that the universe always has our back. And I just want you to know that, everyone out there who's listening, the universe has you fully supported, and signs are a symbol of that. So don't question them. Just use them as confirmation that you are getting a message that you are exactly where you're supposed to be in your life. So the next picture that we have is, this happens very common to me. I'll do a session with someone, healing session or a reading or something, and then I'll go to get in the car, or I'll have a session with someone and I'll go to get in a car. And I call this spirit radio. Spirit will definitely speak to us in songs. I know my very good friend Christine, her dad's name is Tom, and she always hears a certain song that she knows is her dad's song, Major Tom. So this was just random. Again, got in a car and basically angels, song about angels is playing. This happens to me all the time. It's just the universe saying, hey, G, we gotcha. And I just love that, those things kind of happen. So Janine in the comments is saying that she sees 517 all the time, and that's her mom's birthday. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. You cannot not understand that they're just talking to us. They're just, patting us on the back and saying, I'm still here. My love is still here. Don't forget that. We're with you. And I always say, till I sound like a broken record, that if they loved you on this side in the earth plane, on the other side in divinity, which is more beautiful than we can ever imagine, which is paradise, can you only imagine how strong love is? So is it any wonder that they can talk to us and nudge us and reach us from the other side? So sometimes things happen, especially in the morning when I first wake up. And the third photo that we have to show you tonight is exactly that. I just woke up one morning, opened my eyes, and looked at my window, and this is what was there. And I just was like, oh, okay. And this picture is actually sideways right now on the screen, but you can see that, I think I might have delivered it sideways, but you can see it's simply a crucifix in light and the refraction of light there. And it's just, light plays a huge portion in life for me, and it should for you all as well. And so there you go. So I woke up to this one morning. Yeah, just, opening my eyes and being like, what the, ooh, how beautiful, And so I just knew they were with me, and that I brought in this energy probably while I was sleeping of Jesus. The golden light of Christ was really symbolic for me at this time. I was studying a lot about that. And when I woke up, this was the first thing that I saw that day. So to me, that was confirmation that Jesus wanted me to continue my study and continue my work in the world. And so just really, really cool stuff, And there's a million things like this for me, and everybody out there has these beautiful things that just happen to us. And so I just want you to know that they're real. And a lot of times we, at first we might get spooked by them or think there's something wrong, and there's nothing wrong. It's just your loved ones telling you that you're so beautifully loved, Also, one thing that happens to me a lot, and, I tell people this and they think I'm making it up, but then they'll drive with me and they'll see things and it'll happen. And I get spoken to a lot in license plates. And I'm sure you guys do too. You see a plate, whatever. So I always try and snap a pic, especially if I'm at a light. So one day I was just driving along, and this is our fourth picture, and I had actually just broken up with somebody, and I'm crying along in the car. I'm driving down Nichols Road, and I'm crying because I just lost this person in my life. And I stop at a light, and what's in front of me but this Benz that says, moving forward. And I felt like it was my dad. Like my dad was like, stop your crying, get over it. I'll give you something to cry about, And so sometimes my angels can have a sense of humor and a little bit of whimsy, but I just thought this was really appropriate. As I cried my eyes over at over this random guy, someone was just telling me, hey, move forward, move forward. Moving forward, Georgia, right? So sometimes those signs will remind you of what you're really supposed to be taking your authority about, right? We talked about in the beginning of the show that the energy this week is all about finding our inner authority. Well, this is a great way to start because people will tell you you're crazy. People will disbelieve you. You'll not want to tell people about your beautiful signs because they might think you're nutty. No, own that inner authority that knows this is real and it's happening and it's just love from the other side. So Anne says the 11 cents, always a dime and a penny appears in the strangest places. I know it's my dad. Everything around him was number 11. Well, number 11 again is a divine number. It's a master number. The number 11 in spirituality, a lot of times people begin to see that when they start to divinely open and they start to be open to spirit. Because if you think about it, if you look at the two ones, it's like two doors, right? So the doors open and we open our heart to spirit. So 11, 11, 11 is a very divine number. I see 11, 11 a lot on the clock. And when I look at that, I always try and think, okay, what was I just thinking about? What was my last thought? Because that's confirmation that I should be thinking about that. And that's how I use the 11s and the 11, 11. So really, really cool stuff. So I have more license plates to show you, but first I have a picture that I oftentimes will, when I'm a little keyed up, I have a very tense three-dimensional world with my job. You guys all know I'm a realtor by my earthbound life, as I like to call it. And sometimes earthbound life can get a little wonky. So I oftentimes will come home and put on some beautiful meditation music and try and meditate, or sometimes I'll take a warm bath and just, I have a beautiful soaking tub in my home, and one of my rituals is sometimes to light a couple of candles and just let the energy kind of ground. And so picture number 5 was one day I was just doing that, and I kind of had my eyes closed listening to some beautiful music in a warm bath. And when I opened my eyes, there I saw this beautiful feather in my bathtub. I do not know how a feather would have gotten in my bathtub, but there it was. And I grabbed my camera really quick and just took a picture of it against my little foot. So that was really pretty cool. That one was definitely, I couldn't even explain that one, but it was just so random, but so beautiful. And the energy in the room was so beautiful. Like I knew the angels had just come and were probably around me and just kind of, one of their wings just shed a feather in my tub. And that was just so beautiful. And I kept that feather because I just thought it was so beautifully divine. And it was a big one, too. I don't know where it came from. But things like that just happen. So I'd love to hear more of your stories. If you want to call into the show, Bobby will put the number on the screen. So as I said, license plates talk to me a lot. And I was telling you about how January 27th is a really big deal to me. The number 27 is my mom, and my birth date is 12. And so I was really in a very rough time in my life. I actually had just gone for a reading with someone. I was trying to, just really be dropping down into my authentic self and asking myself, do I want to continue in the earthbound job that I had, because they were very rigid where I worked and they wouldn't allow me to do anything spiritual whatsoever. And I wanted to do mindfulness classes for the company and they wouldn't even allow it. They wouldn't let me do meditation with the agents or anything. And I was really in this almost existential crisis of like, I want to move my life forward and be able to do all those beautiful things, but I know I can't do them where I'm working here. And what am I going to do? And I left work that day feeling very heavy. I had been taken out to lunch by the partners, and my position there, I was a senior, executive, and I felt, very upset that they weren't accepting me the way I was. And I knew something was going to happen with a decision, but I was really just in a bad place, as sometimes we can be. And obviously everything worked out really great. And when I pulled out of the parking lot, this was on picture number 6, the license plate I saw, B1227, my birth date and my mom's, and just be. Throw it over to the universe and allow spirit to just allow you to flow and be in God's grace, and he'll show you the way forward. And a month later, I actually found another position where they let me do whatever I want with meditation and mindfulness, and I'm coaching the agents in wellness, and I get to do all of my earthbound life and be really ambitious and make all my money and do a lot of sales and also do that. And I get to do my beautiful passion project here in the soul space. And I don't worry about what anybody thinks of me because I'm really being who I am meant to be and being so fully supported in that. So be who you are, guys. Be 1227. And I oftentimes just think of that and I think, wow, Spirit really showed me that day and got me out of my doldrums. So don't be afraid to allow yourself to believe in signs because they come when you least expect them. Another license plate, I have a couple of them. Picture number 7 is just, I had just asked for Rolling Stones tickets for Christmas, and I went shopping that day, and there's a car in front of me, and his license plate is Rolling Stones. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to get the tickets. I know I'm going to get them now because I just saw that license plate. This is just my world. What can I tell you? If you hang out with me a lot, it's going to happen to you too. It's just the way it goes. It's so funny. Um, and then the next one was when I first started to study astrology. I left an astrology class completely confused, which you do when you're first in the black hole of astrology. And we had been studying something about this constellation and Orion's belt and all this craziness. And I left that class, and this was a license plate on Sunrise Highway in front of me that night. Picture number 8, Bobby, was Orion. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm supposed to continue my studies. Okay. And it's sometimes this happens so often that you don't want to take it for granted, but like it just happens this way. And you're like, okay, just another one. My angels are screwing with me again. It's just kind of funny, but not, right? Funny, but serious. And the next one that I had is one that was very, very, wow, it was really a tough time. I just lost my dog Sparky last March, and it was just gut-wrenching. I mean, I can equate it to actually, I don't want this to sound callous, but it was actually more grief than I had with my mom and dad, and we all know that was really bad grief. But the dog leaving me was so unbelievably hard because I didn't live with my mom and dad every day when they passed. I had nursed my father that summer that he died, but I had not lived with them in my home for many, many years. And so the dog was still a part of my every day, every moment. Sparky and I were like always together in each other's little hearts. And so when he passed away, I went through this really rough time because and even though I believed so strongly in spirit, I wasn't sure he was okay. I was like, is he okay? Like, who helped him? Who's he with up there? And like, is my dog okay? I just need a sign. I need a sign. And for 2 weeks, I got no sign. I was like begging and bargaining and all the things you're not supposed to do when asking for signs. And then finally one Sunday morning, I had been crying, and Orion probably is home for you, Michaelson. One day I woke up and I was crying and I really missed the dog. And I was like, Sparky, you got to give me a sign today because I'm so torn up over not knowing if you're okay or not. And of course he was okay, but I was just in grief. So I went shopping at the shopping center by me, and I just took my mind off things, spent a little bit of money, got some really cute things, and came out of the parking lot and drove around the back of the parking lot because I was going to actually take an exit out that wasn't so heavily trafficked. And then picture number 9, on a cargo container in the back parking lot of the shopping center, it says Sparks Logistics. And I was like, oh, he's okay. I know he's okay. He's showing me that his container's gone, but he's fine. And he was in his logistical place in heaven, and he was in my doggy heaven, and I didn't worry about him anymore. I grieved him, but I didn't worry. Little star and the Sparks. And I was like, Sparkster's okay, man. He's sending me signs. And I always feel him around my home now. He's so wonderful. And so another story to do with Sparky. When Sparky took ill, it was very sudden. And I remember he could no longer walk. This all happened in a matter of a couple of hours. And I had to lift him. I wrapped him in a blanket and I lifted him into the car. And I knew intuitively, sometimes being psychic doesn't always work in our favor. I knew intuitively he wasn't going to be coming home with me. I knew this was it. And I had to wrap my brain around that, but I had to drive him to the vet. And so I got in the car and I was praying to my mom, and I was like, Mommy, could you please just like make sure you help Sparky? Because I know you never met him in your life, but you loved animals so much. Can you please just help my beautiful, beautiful animal cross over? And I turned on the car. I put Sparky in the back seat and I turned on the car. And then picture number 10 was the moments before, really, I guess maybe a half hour before Sparky was put down. And the time on the clock was January 27th, 1:27, my mom's birthday. And when I turned on the car and I saw that, I was like, yeah, my intuition is correct. Sparky's not going to come back with me. Mommy, just help me go through this, And so they're always with us. Just because we can't physically always see their presence, we know they're there. And I know you guys all have signs just as strong as these signs, but I just wanted to show you these so that you get a little inspired to know that your signs are real and everything you believe is the truth, and that people are loving you from so many different realms that you don't have to feel sad or lonely if you don't have someone loving you right in the moment or on a holiday in the physical plane. You have so much love that's surrounding you in every realm. And so, showing me that even more, and also that spirit really wants us to fulfill our potential and fulfill our work in the world and our soul potential, was I had a bookcase in my house. I don't have it anymore. I rearranged things now. But at this time, a few years ago, when I was changing my living arrangement and my ex-husband had moved out of the house, I had this gorgeous hutch in my dining room. It was all filled with Royal Doulton china, which I never let anyone eat on. And I was now in the spiritual world and I wasn't so attached to material things. And so I turned my hutch into a bookcase and I made my dining room a library, because all I did at the time was read spiritual books and write and journal and write my books. And I have like 3 books written, that one I'm working on now that's not done yet, that I just haven't even published. And, got to get on that. My friend Yvonne's out there listening. She's like, yes, you do. I know she's saying that. And so I turned my hutch into a bookcase. And then one day I came home and it had one of these lights in it that like had a little press button, and you'd press the button and the china hutch would light up. And I would oftentimes come home and that light would be on. And I'd be like, how is this light on? Or I'd come home late at night and the light would be on and I know it wasn't on when I left the house. Or I'd wake up in the middle of the night to get a glass of water and the light in the hutch would be on. This light was playing with me all the time. And so then I finally did a renovation a couple of years ago and took that wall down where this big tall hutch is, that no one uses these hutches anymore. And I had the top of the hutch sent out to Goodwill. And I had the bottom of the hutch just as a buffet. I had a beautiful granite top made for it. But anyway, when I went to clear the books out, I knew I had this ambivalence, because I was like, well, I love my books, but I'm putting them in a different room now. And I know I'm supposed to write, and I'll still write in here. And there's actually an angel portal in my dining room library, whatever you want to call it. And as I'm clearing out all the books, this is what was left on the bookshelf of the hutch top that kept shining a light on and off. All the books were removed. I went to go dust the shelves, and these were actually 2 pages torn out of a book, or somehow ripped from a book. I didn't do it, in the complete shape of angel wings, showing me that light going on and off that was making me think I was nuts, that there was a short in the wall or something, was actually angels talking to me. And so always believe your first intuition, thinking, okay, this is mom or dad or angels or whatever it is. Your first intuition is usually right. And so my beautiful angels came in to show me, even though the books are being moved, you better still read, and you better still write your novel, and you better still tell your story. And so I still have these beautiful angel wings. I keep them near a crystal in my home. And then also what happens to me is light plays a big part in my life. And light is, when we're first getting signs, light is one of the easiest ways to really recognize and step into believing in our signs. And I have several pictures about light, all very different, but all I feel just really an inspiration to remind us that the light within us is connected on some level, all different levels for all different times of day, all different levels on our vibration, where we're at. Sometimes we're angry, sometimes we're frustrated, and maybe our light's not so strong. And sometimes we're so deeply in joy and our light's so strong. So I made it a habit during COVID, because I was so shut in. And as a Sagittarius rising, I love freedom, have to be free all the time. And I actually had a habit of going and looking at the sunset every evening. And I would get in the car and drive to the beach. I'd stop working, because I work from home a lot. I'd stop working at 4:30, quarter after 4, and I'd drive to the beach, and I would just watch the sunset every day. And it made me feel like I wasn't so sequestered, so imprisoned. And so these are some of the shots. I remember this particular day, picture number 12. There was this gorgeous sunset, and I was just so grateful for it. It was just so beautiful. It looked almost like a movie or a artificial, painting or artificial light. It was just so absolutely beautiful. And I remember it was cold and the wind was whipping in my face. And I just stood there in awe of it, taking pictures, letting this beautiful golden light like bathe my face and letting my eyes really see it and taking the light in and the light codes in through my eyes and really allowing it to touch my third eye. And knowing in that moment, I was just in the most beautiful place where I was supposed to be. And Spirit was rewarding me with this beautiful sunset just for leaving work and taking care of my spirit. And as the sun set, I got back in the car because it was really cold. And then the next photo, picture 13, when I got in the car, this is the song that was on the radio, Sundown. And I just was like, wow, they're telling me I have to keep doing this. I have to go and see this beautiful light every day. And I have to tell you, during COVID, we had some of the most gorgeous sunsets. And it's so funny because all of a sudden there was a crowd every day at the beach or down by the bay parking lot waiting for the sunset. It was like this phenomenon that every day everyone would go and just look at the sunset because we were all home and working from home and people had time to do it. Now the crowd's kind of gone, and I mourn that. But I still try and grab those sunsets as much as I can. And then the next one is again in light, and there's a phenomenon called a sundog. And picture number 14 is this is a whole series of sundogs. And in picture number 14, you can see the sun, and if you look really closely, you'll see a rainbow around the sun. Well, years ago, when I first started to study astrology, my moon is at 22 degrees of Scorpio. And there's a phenomenon that occurs. If you look in the Bible and in a lot of Renaissance paintings, you'll see a halo around a lot of people's heads, angels and heroes and Jesus. And it's indicative of the master number 22 in the tarot. You can read about that as well. And halos, the halo effect, only occurs when light is refracted at the number 22. And I didn't know this, but one day I woke up and Spirit speaks to me a lot in the morning upon awakening. Like, remember, you saw that cross in my window. And I heard a voice say, 22 is your soul number. Because I kept asking why I was seeing the number 22 everywhere. And I'm like, what do you mean my soul number? And then a couple of weeks later, when I had learned about astrology, I started learning about astrology and researching astrology, studying astrology. I realized my moon was at 22 degrees of Scorpio. The moon is the soul. In astrology, our emotions. So in effect, 22 is my soul number. And so I see sundogs and halos constantly in the sun, in the moon, and I know it's exactly 22 degrees and that Spirit is speaking to my soul in that moment. And the next picture is another sundog, again, with picture number 15, with the rainbow light. This just happened to me on Thanksgiving Day. I was in the park. I was thinking about sacred geometry, which I'm starting to study now, and the light codes and how there's 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet, which are very significant in sacred geometry. And as I turn the corner into this beautiful open meadow, I see light refracted at 22 degrees in a sundog. And you can see the rays coming out of it towards the right. This was not the sun. The sun was positioned in the sky a ways left of this. And it was just absolutely beautiful. And then oftentimes, even more rare, picture 16 and 17, we were out on a cruise, a moonlight cruise where I was doing Reiki and meditation on a full moon cruise. And we saw the rainbow around the moon at 22 degrees. This was a full moon in Scorpio, actually, right where my moon is in my birth chart. And as you can see, we have this beautiful orb on the bottom. And in both shots, the orb is in just about the same place. And you can see that's the moon, not the sun. That is a full moon with a rainbow aura around it. So Spirit speaks to us quite often. And everyone on the boat that night was just in awe of this. And I think we have a third picture also of that same night, picture number 18, which is the moon on the water that night. How spectacular is that? If that's not a sign from God and all his beautiful creation of life and of us, I don't know what is. And then the final picture that I have, picture 19, is kind of whimsical. I was eating a potato chip recently, and it had the tree of life in it. So picture number 19 is our last one. So every once in a while, you get a little bit of whimsy. My tree of life had with my potato, but I ate it anyway. And I said, I'm going to eat the tree of life tonight. So really cool stuff. So now I'm going to go to comments. I want to see all about your your things. Amazing photos. I know. Thank you, Anne. And this is like my daily life. I mean, I could show hours of photos of signs that I have. When you open to spirit and you allow him in your life to flow, his beauty, his magical, miraculous things in your life, you're just always tapped on the back. Like, hey, kid, you're doing okay, and in your times of need, especially. Aaron says he sees all kinds of signs too, numbers, license plate, numbers at work. But sometimes literally it's something someone says that just stands out to me. That's very appropriate also. A lot of times, you'll go to a restaurant and if you eat out a lot, you'll keep having the waiter will have the same name every place you go, or you'll meet new people and you'll hear the same name constantly. That's also big signs. Sometimes I get a name during meditation. I look it up. The other day I was meditating on my soul purpose and I clearly heard the name Alex. And, when I was a novice, I used to think, oh, I'm going to meet somebody named Alex who's going to help me with my soul purpose. Now I just Googled the meaning of the name Alex and it came up as defender of mankind. And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of like what I do. I'm here trying to deliver positive content in order to help people and, defend mankind to be into a higher vibration, right? So sometimes it's completely random, but you've got to look for the sign, or it's whatever it means to you. It's whatever you believe. And it's just exactly that's happening to you, Aaron, where it may seem random, but it's very clear because you're open to it and you're really in touch with your intuition. And that's what this is all about.
Georgia.
Yeah.
I hate to interrupt you, but I would like to share a sign that I got last night when I went to Taco Bell.
Oh, I want to see. Now you have me totally interested.
You ready?
This is our producer, Bobby. Yeah.
Right, here we go.
You got a cross potato.
I got a cross in a potato.
I love it. And for those of you who know, Bobby goes to church religiously every Sunday. Gym and church. Wow. I love that.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. It goes in my window.
Exactly.
So now how'd you feel when you got that? You were like, yeah, they're talking to me.
I mean, I don't know. It was just like, I'm like, wow, I've been eating French fries my whole life.
Right.
And I've never had a cross French fry. So it's like, I'm not saying it couldn't have happened, but like, how many hundreds and hundreds of French fries have I eaten? Thousands of French fries, and it's never happened. So yeah, I really that was just, it just hit me. That was like,
and
wow.
I think you attract it because what happens is when we're open, people will see all those photos and they'll be like, oh my God, this girl's getting signs all the time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I'm attracting that because of the vibration. And you also, I mean, I've been doing this now. This is my 60-second show tonight. And I've been doing this, and even your energy since I've been coming to the studio. When I first joined, we were just coming off of COVID and all this stuff. And now you are just like a light when I walk in. All that stuff's just behind you, and you are forward motion.
New man.
Yeah. So you're going to see all the signs now. It's coming to you.
Yep.
That is absolutely cool. Okay. Lorene says she gets signs all the time, numbers, feathers, lights in her house flicker, and you always see hearts. Well, Lorene, I know your mom and dad had so much love for you in this lifetime and you for them, that coming from the other side, their love is like 1,000 times stronger, and they're watching out for you. They're protecting you. They're showing you that. So you just have to believe it and let your heart be light. Try not to get into the negative, because sometimes when we lose people, we get that heavy feeling, especially around the holidays. It's hard, but we've got to keep really light and just, we can bring in their energy. I used to actually feel my mom and dad hugging me. I don't think they hugged me enough in life. So now I make sure I feel them hugging me on the other side. I always say I have a better relationship with my dad now than I ever did when he was alive. It's so much better now. And Janine says she looks up at blue skies, and every once in a while she sees angel shapes in the clouds. And I can attest to that because sometimes she sends me those photos, and they do look like angels in the clouds. Absolutely stunningly beautiful. So just believe. And when you see those things, make sure that you are actually allowing yourself to feel joy and be like, wow, they love me so much. They're showing me this beautiful thing. Whether it's a French fry or the sun or whatever, they're speaking to you. It's all a language. And I believe numbers are a language all their own. I did a show about that a while back. We'll have to do another one. But there's so much out there for us to learn about this. So I would love to hear about your signs. You can keep commenting even when the show is over. And Light is a big one. Kim Murray says strongly agree with the light. It's just such a huge thing. And the way light refracts, and I always know that's 22 degrees, and I'm always like, yeah, they're really talking to me. And the funny thing is about that one sundog that I just saw on Thanksgiving Day, the park was a little bit crowded, not too much because, it was Thanksgiving, and it was a dog park. And I always go there even though I don't have a dog because I like to look at the dogs and I try and take joy in that. And it was really funny because when I came through this, like there were people on the path, and when I parked and came through the meadow to go through the paths, I saw a lot of people. But then when I came out of the trails, there was nobody. I look up in the sky and I see this sundog, and there's literally like nobody anywhere. I'm like, am I the only one seeing this? Sometimes that can be. I think maybe sometimes things are just for you and the timing becomes perfect, So that could happen too. So just, try and remember that these are positive things. Just amazing. And especially I know Laureen is very parallel to the fact that she's lost both her mom and dad pretty close together with my story. And so those signs sometimes keep you going, So I send some love out to Laureen and everybody out there because who really has someone that's lost and they have to go through this holiday season with that, because some of it just sticks with you for a really long time. I know my mom and dad now are gone a while, and I just, always the holidays are rough. I always have a little bit of tear, but what I do now is I have my own rituals. I go to mass, even though I'm not really a practicing Catholic, but I go to mass because I love the ritual of communion, and I always make sure I go on Christmas to honor my mom. So I want to see more comments. So send some loving out in the community to everybody. And before we go, we only have a couple minutes left. I'm just going to pick a couple of cards for the world energy right now for the next week to see what's going on in the world. And maybe we'll get a sign from the cards, right? Spirit, give us a sign from the cards tonight for all of us, what we should be focusing on and thinking about in the next 7 days till we meet again in the soul space. Okay. Got the Knight of Swords. That means something's coming in hot. Something's coming in hot. So I have a comment here from Aaron. When my best friend passed away in 2017, the night after the funeral, I went downtown. Here and there was like a street vendor selling things. And for some reason, his cart was like glowing to me, especially this red string bracelet. The bracelet was the hand of Hamsa. Yeah, the Hamsa. I didn't know the prayer or meaning at the time. That's the sign for me. That really got me. Oh, yeah. See how things just, your friend led you there. And I truly believe that's what goes on. So I pulled the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords is my 911 card. We kind of think of that as like the emergency card. And the 911 card is something's going to happen. It could be a good thing too. Sometimes an emergency happens and it's really cool. Something happens suddenly. That's a good thing that you've been waiting for. So Knight of Swords comes in. Next card I have is Page of Wands. So this tells me that we're going to get a communication. Something's going to happen this week that we really don't expect. I feel it's a communication happens. Maybe a breakthrough in the case in Idaho, or it could be more of a breakthrough with one of the cases. It could even be a Biden or Trump case. Yeah, look, we've got Justice is Blind here, right after the Knight of Swords, Page of Wands. And then we have the Hermit. This is how I'm going to tell this story, and I'm going to pick a fifth card for confirmation. Yeah, this is how I'm going to tell this story. Knight of Swords, something comes in that's unforeseen, unexpected, a new development in some kind of a storyline that we're hearing in the media. It comes in through a communication. Either they find, an email or a text or some kind of a digital communication that blows something wide open. This is the Justice is Blind, so there's more to the story. We don't know everything that we're supposed to know yet. And this causes whoever this is about to go into hiding. Hermit. Hermit also, it may be symbolic of someone who's been in hiding now being revealed. And then this is the conflict. Look at our gentleman, this beautiful card, the Nine of Wands. He has all these wands, which is action behind him. And then there he is, ready to fight a final battle, but he's exhausted. He doesn't know if he can do it. So this is something about a case of intrigue breaking wide open. It could be something in your personal life, but globally on the media front, this is definitely something that's been an ongoing situation. We have a break in the case or some new information that comes in, 911, emergency. We have information. that information page of wands has something to do with a digital communication, a telephone call that's been recorded, a social media thing that's found, a text, a email, but something that is digital communication. And then justice is blind, more to come, something is revealed, a secret, something to do with the justice system, a court case, a trial, information that will cause someone to go on trial or be indicted. Maybe it's the FTX guy, SBD. And then this is the Hermit. Something is being revealed, holding up a light. I don't believe this is somebody in hiding. I believe it's somebody that wasn't hiding and is revealed. So someone's identity is revealed. Someone's caught out. The truth comes in. And then we can see if you put this person with this person, now this is all behind them, all this argument, all this action, and now they have to come forward. So that's what I'm finding. I don't know. I'm not going to say what it's about. I kind of have an inkling, but I'm not political on this show or, really take a side on any current events. So I don't know, but something's going to happen between now and Friday. I feel like that we're going to get some really news that kind of blasts us out of the water. So, hopefully we all stay safe. And thank you, Anne. Please, if you can, share the show. Bring your friends on. Tell everybody about the Soul Space. We have a goal of how many people we're going to reach. And we're really going to be doing that YouTube Live, really hitting that hard. So you guys find us over there whenever you can't find us on Facebook. Thank you so much. I love each and every one of you. I'll be back next Monday at 7 o'clock, more in the Soul Space. And drop me a line, a comment. I want to see what your signs are. Post a picture of your latest sign in the comments below. And we'll get going and talking about what they really mean. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys all next Monday at 7 o'clock right here in the Soul Space.